The latest update to Fire Emblem Three Houses has by far and away been more substantial than the first one the game received. Update 1.0.2 has brought a lot of new changes to the game, including different ways to play, as well as some crucial casting choices. Fans going to start a brand new game will notice that Maddening mode is now live in Three Houses. The free software update has officially hit the game, and players will notice that it is notably harder than anything else present in the game. Fans have already lamented choosing this path as it has proved to be most challenging, but upon completion of the game mode, you might just see a little alteration to the title screen, a little reward, a little nod to your completion of this mode, considering the Switch doesn't have achievements. According to the game's patch notes, an increased renown bonus will be offered for those selecting New Game Plus at the start of the game, meaning those players who opt to start the game over using the New Game Plus mode will benefit from bonus renown, which of course allows players to customize and upgrade the various statues found within the Cathedral of the Monastery. These of course grant various experience bonuses, as well as things like additional Divine Pulse charges. This will be useful, of course, assuming that you are using the Divine Pulse feature in the game. For those who have purchased the expansion pass, Wave 2 has officially been rolled out. A new set of items will be available for each new save you start. Players will be able to obtain the Sacred Galewind shoes, a Sacred Floral robe, a Sacred Snowmelt drop, and a Sacred Moonstone. A whole lot of sacred items there for those who purchase the expansion pass, and of course there will be DLC to come as Waves 3 and 4 continue to roll out in the coming months. Additionally, 5 new auxiliary battles will indeed be available for those expansion pass owners, the likes of which include Battle at Lake Tutades, Battle in the Forest, Battle at Gronder Field, Battle at the Sealed Forest, and Battle at the Conand Tower. Do take note that these new battles will be marked instead with a yellow exclamation point, as opposed to the other auxiliary battles present in the game, which are marked with red. These new expansion pass auxiliary battles may also offer some bonus status boosting rewards, so who knows what you may find when engaging in these new auxiliary battles. Some sweet new threads have also been added to the game. The students and Byleth themselves will be able to chill about the monastery in their new house loungewear attire. It's available for Byleth and all students, and you can swap outfits in Byleth's personal quarters. Now, be aware that this loungewear is only available inside the monastery. Of course, it wouldn't make very much sense to be wearing your pajamas onto the battlefield, now would it? In addition to the comfy, cozy new style, be sure to check out Byleth's special new glasses. And they're special if only for one reason. Byleth's got glasses. They can be worn in and around the monastery and on the battlefield for any Byleths out there who are lacking 20/20 vision, or for the ones who are just making a fashion statement by popping out those lenses. This is all well and good, of course, but the real meat of the update comes in the replacement of voice actor Chris Niosi. He, of course, voiced Byleth in the English version of the audio. Now, the interesting thing about this was that no one really knew who was voicing Byleth right up until the release of the game. It was actually through the mobile game Fire Emblem Heroes that people discovered that Niosi would indeed be Byleth's English voice actor, and people who knew his history were a little less than pleased. That's the caveat, though, is that not many people knew his history. Niosi was a relatively unknown voice actor, certainly not a household name by any stretch of the imagination, and yet this name, Chris Niosi, kept popping up over and over again, and not in the best light. Several claims against Niosi had been made years ago by a multitude of people, ranging from friends to former romantic partners. The allegations against Niosi included things like verbal and psychological abuse and manipulation in personal and romantic relationships, among numerous other things. Then, in the wake of such allegations resurfacing, a new piece of evidence came to light in the form of an admission of guilt by Niosi himself. The admission, the subsequent apology, the promise to change, they were all detailed in a lengthy Tumblr post. But alas, the evidence present was quite overwhelming, considering a piece of that evidence was indeed an admission of guilt from the accused. Now, it's likely that Neosi just slipped through Nintendo's vetting process. Again, these allegations weren't broad scale. Before this, he wasn't a household or well-known name in really any regards. So it makes sense that they would miss this, especially for a role which doesn't require a lot of speaking at all. The most interesting thing about this by far, though, was Nintendo's very swift response to the community. Of course, there were calls to boycott the game as this occurrence happened right before the game's release, but this only led to fans rationalizing to those outraged that this would only hurt the sales of the game and Nintendo and not necessarily Neosi because he had already been paid. Seeing as how fans could really do nothing but share their opinions and thoughts on the matter, it was all up to Nintendo to make a move, and make a move they did. A very deliberate one at that. The Japanese gaming giant announced within the month of the game's release that Neosi was planned to be removed from the game and replaced in his entirety. This unprecedented move was lauded with praise from fans and critics alike. Not only did the Japanese game giant set an industry-wide standard for tolerance, but they backed it up. In this update, Neosi has officially been replaced. Now, no one expected this to be instantaneous, but no one quite knew when it was going to happen either. In the game's most recent update patch notes, no specific names were mentioned, not Neosi nor his replacement, which is unsurprising as Nintendo are likely looking to keep this transition as quick, easy as possible. But of course, names attached to projects come to light very quickly because, well, this is the age of the internet. Zack Aguilar has officially graced the role of Byleth, and he's done a bang-up job. Granted, as I said before, the role of Byleth is not that intensive. A few lines here or there, and you're pretty much done. But the most impressive part about his performance is that it isn't a jarring transition. While noticeable because, yes, Neosi and Aguilar are two different people, the contrast is not nearly as stark as one might expect it to be. You may indeed recognize Aguilar's voice from shows like Hunter x Hunter, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, One Piece, and even One Punch Man. As a side note, while Byleth's age isn't ever explicitly mentioned, in fact the character doesn't even know his own age, it can be surmised due to some in-game math that he's about 21 or 22, at least pre-time skip. Lack of toxic history aside, this just makes Aguilar a better fit, as he's 20 himself, whereas Neosi is 30. This, in my mind at least, makes the role feel all that much more authentic. That is the latest on Fire Emblem Three Houses' latest update and DLC rollout. What do you think so far? Will you be giving Madness Mode a try? How about starting a New Game Plus with a different house? What do you think about Byleth's change in voice actor? Did Nintendo make the right move? Let us know down in the comments below, or come find me on Twitter at JacobIsHungry to type at me there. Stay tuned to the channel for more content just like this, and thanks again for tuning in to VGR.